Major ham bone here. My last video I spoke about the Everglades. I wanted to give you guys a little bit of an idea of what I mean by swamp. All right, I'm at the. I guess it's a levee, but we call it a dike. I'm looking out at endless sawgrass. We have a couple of canal areas that they monitor, that they keep open through there to just regulate the water flow, I guess. But as far as the eye can see, you're looking at sawgrass. So I mean, so each one of those blades of grass has a saw on it, and then let's look down the levee there. I mean, it's just miles and miles and miles and miles. Now, if we have no way of bugging out vehicle-wise, I have mapped this levee system to be able to get to initial rally point. Even considering a small boat to follow some of the canals out, but either way, we're kind of stuck in a small spot, and if somebody like Fish and Wildlife Commission want to bug us, there's not much place we can go. But let's head down in here a little bit, and I'll show you what I mean by not trees with water, but swamp. All right, I'm gonna walk down the side of this here. Closely watching for alligators and snakes, although snakes, it's a little bit cool out. Snakes may be here trying to get some kind of sun, but there's not much. All right, so see, water, mud, just mud, and when it gets out there, it's just worse. And sawgrass, taller than me. Let's see if I can get a piece of this sawgrass and show you what it looks like. Oh shit, it's too muddy. Down I go. Get a little blade. Come on. All right, let's see. Okay, sawgrass. I don't know if you can really tell on here. It doesn't really want to focus. But on the edge of each one of these blades, and on this back, on the edge right here, and on the bottom, and on the back right here, is little tiny saw blades, little tiny serrations. I wish I had a way to show you that better. This is my phone versus. I don't know if can I zoom in. Let me ramble here while I zoom in. See if I can. I don't know. Oops. No, I don't know how to. Wait, let's see. All right. There's some zoom. Let's see if it'll focus. Can you focus on the zoom? No. I don't know. I don't know how to work my own phone. My daughter can work hers. But anyway, going through that is torture. I mean, it's impossible, to tell you the truth. You walk in there and you will actually just get stuck in the mud. I used to do volunteer Everglades restoration work. We would clear out Melaleuca trees, which are an invasive species that they brought down to dry out the Everglades. And I've gone down in the mud and lost. It'll actually suck you so hard that when you pull up, the sole of your boots can get ripped off, literally ripped off, right off your boot, and or you can lose your whole boot if your sole is in better condition than mine were. But I lost both both soles one day of my boots. The tops came off, the soles stayed in the mud. There was no retrieving it. And that wasn't even in the water. That was even a little bit of a drier area because of those Melaleucas. So I mean, these are up probably 10 feet. You know, I'm 6'1" or so, and I'm looking straight out from here. So, you know, 8 to 10 feet you got here of sawgrass, and you saw how far it goes. It just goes and goes and goes. I don't know if any of you all remember, but we had a back when they called it AirTran, I think it was, or Value. I don't know. They renamed it or whatever. But anyway, it took off from Florida Fort Lauderdale Airport, came right out here into the Everglades and crashed. And when it crashed, it got sucked down into the mud, just, and they couldn't find it for days. They couldn't find the plane. There was a bit of a scar mark, but the sawgrass kind of came back around it. Turns out what happened is it went down so deep into the mud and went all the way down and hit bedrock. That's down, I don't know how far, but deep enough that a plane could get it, you know, and shattered. And then it just, all the pieces went under the mud, everywhere under the mud, and they couldn't find it. And then once they did locate it, they couldn't get out to it. It took them forever to be able to actually get out and start picking up pieces and look for black boxes and stuff. And they never really did get much of it. So or I don't know how much they got out of it, but it was a huge process. Now there are drier spots. They have these little areas where you'll have a bit of just like kind of a mound of earth throughout the areas, you know, and that will be and they'll have some small stubby trees on there. And then if you go on the other side of Florida, what's still considered Everglades, there is actual land. I mean, it's still very swampy, but there is more land to it. But that's just not anywhere where I would be bugging out. I've just got this to look forward to. And I could trail along the edge of it, all the way up. I've mapped it, but it would be ugly. I have a conditional species license, hunting license here in Florida, which means that any time out of the year I can hunt invasive species. And it's particularly what we do is we hunt python. Pythons are the Burmese python is taking over large parts of the Everglades, eating birds, all natural wildlife, just really disrupting it. And I tell you, you get out there, even in the best of places, and it is a bitch. And that's why I don't do much python hunting anymore. You go out, you know, 50 times and deal with all that, you know, all day long, and not find crap because they hide so well. You know, out of all the times in the years that I went out there, I think we found 3 or 4. None of them bigger than, like, say 6 feet. So we didn't make a dent in the population. They're super good at hiding. And they can, once they warm up in the sun, they go into the water and they can stay there forever. It's really hard. It sucked. As far as hunting is concerned, it was some of the worst I ever was involved with. But anyway, I want to just give you a picture. I'll give you, as I head back up here, I'll let you see again just how much grass, all grass, there really is. See, that's one of those little... Sorry, let me follow my ass. Walking backwards up the thing. That little clump of trees... Let's see if is an example of one of that little, like a mound of dirt that's out there. And as I'm zoomed out, if you scan around, you might see another one way out in the distance there. A little bit of clumps. I can see them. I don't know how well you can see them on the camera, but they're out there. I have a friend who's a Seminole Indian, and they make, people think of tiki huts. Well, they make cheeky huts, and they're made to live out in this kind of stuff. And they elevate the way that it's done. They got their posts, and they build a floor that's way above the ground level, and covered in the fronds like you would normally see at a regular tiki hut. But they have to get off the ground because there's snakes and gators and all kinds of nastiness out there. But anyway, I don't know what else I can really show you out here, but just an example of what it is I mean when I'm talking about Everglades. So I think I rambled enough. I'm gonna go meet up with Hambone 25. We're supposed to do some shelters today. Today's January 4th, and we're a little bit behind because of the holidays, but we're gonna go make some primitive shelters. It's supposed to pour down on us today, but the weather is still, right now it's t-shirt weather. We'll just gear up in our rain gear and see what we can do. I don't know if the fire's gonna happen. I don't know if we're good enough to make that. But anyway, I'll talk to you soon. Go Minutemen USA.